Welcome back to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with Mayor Kathy Catazero Perry from Massillon, Ohio. And it's just always kind of exciting, I think, when a person now gets another chance to bring their vision to a town, to the city of Massillon. Tell us a little bit about what you would love to see maybe 4 years from now.
Okay, well, I am looking forward. The first 4 years we had crisis management. Now we're able to manage, and that is a much better place to be. I want to tell you, within those first 4 years, though, we became a Purple Heart city. We've had a Gold Star memorabilia placed, a marker placed in our Veterans Park, and this year we're working on a Gold Star marker. So that is going to happen in the year 2016. We had the Flags of Honor 2 years in our city, and every other year that will happen. So in 2017, you'll see the Flags of Honor again. And if you've never been to that event, that is something to see, because each serviceman or woman from Iraq or Afghanistan war that was killed, a flag is placed to honor that individual. And it is very heartwarming and just a way to give thanks and to remember them. So,
I can hear your heart on that. That's not something you take lightly in your position, is it?
No. My sister served as a colonel in the Army and was in Iraq, and so I know the feelings of these family members that worry when they're there. And fortunately, my sister was able to come home. But it's very important that we remember our veterans and those that are serving our country now, because they're keeping us free. And if you've ever visited abroad, you know when you come back to America how important it is to be in support of our country and to love our country. So that is something that is really important to us, as well as Judge Eddie, who takes care of that and develops it. He's done a fabulous job. So those are a couple of things that are happening next year and in 2017. But right now we're working on a streetscape program. I don't know if you've heard about it,
Tell us
Susie.
about that.
Well, we're looking at changing our sidewalk, putting in underground utilities, talking about putting in some seating and some music, and really kind of updating our city. And we're almost done with the plan. It should be rolled out in January, what we would like to do with the architectural designs. And it should be a lot of fun to look at and then a lot of fun to execute. And that's a long-term plan, so it's not like it's going to happen overnight, but it's something that everyone is excited about on the CIC committee, as well as our Third Century of Massillon committee.
You already have such a neat start. The park downtown is just so pretty. The storefronts are kept up so beautifully. Massillon just does a great job of continuing that beautiful look of maintaining really a historical little town with great history, awesome history. I'm thinking of the library, which is so unique. The children's area there is just so unique. The Massillon Museum, it's just always fun to come visit. If you can touch on some of those longtime businesses, the Independent, look how great they're doing. And it's wonderful to see everything that is taking place in Massillon.
Well, we've worked very hard on our downtown and filling up the storefronts. We still have a few to fill, but that is a focus of ours as well. We've recruited many businesses to the city over the past 4 years. Our income tax dollars are up, and we're very proud of that. And the other focus is the biggest topic for the campaign, Susie, was our roads. And I know not just Massillon, but many cities in Ohio, Chicago, talk about the infrastructure. And we're focusing on that as well. We've been able to free up $1 million with our TIF funds, tax increment financing, and we're going to be able to pave some roads in the spring, about $1 million worth. So that's very exciting also for our city.
Very exciting. One of my favorite times of year to visit Massillon is at Christmas. You always do such a pretty job of decorating everywhere, and there's some things that take place throughout. It's all decorated. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I know this is going to air after our Light Up Downtown or our holidays, which is on December the 4th, but you can still visit Santa in the cottage on Duncan Plaza. That's all lit up. We have a large Christmas tree, which will light on December the 4th, so that'll be lit every night. And we have our candles that line the downtown Lincoln Way. It's just a wonderful time, a festive time for our city, and everybody gets into the spirit. Shears, of course, is across the street, and they're all decorated. So we're just excited to welcome in the holiday season and to share it with those in our community and those surrounding us.
There's something different about going to see Santa Claus when you're standing out in the cold in a park in the snow, going to his little house, as opposed to in the mall. Nothing wrong with visiting him in the mall, but there's just something really special about visiting him in that little house. Do you agree?
I do agree. It's very, very cozy. It reminds you of, the old days, and then especially if there's snow on the ground, it really, draws it a full circle. So very fun for the kids.
Well, I remember being nervous because, he was the biggest celebrity I was ever going to meet that day. So it's just pretty exciting waiting to see him. I think also about Maslin, and let's get into just the historical significance. I'm thinking back to Lieberman's Bakery and just taking a walk along down there. As you say, you're bringing in new business, but there's also just a real respect for the old as well, isn't there?
Absolutely. Lieberman's is a wonderful place to visit. If you've never had their donuts or cookies or cakes, you've got to go down and try them. They're right on the corner on First Street, right a catty corner from the museum. And they've been here a long, long time, and we're really blessed to have them still remain in the city.
As mayor, what challenges do you see ahead that would be? It's nice that you've got the crisis mode behind you, but what challenges do you foresee coming up?
Well, I can tell you the infrastructure is a challenge. That is something that we have seen over the years that I've been here. The storm grates are all falling in. We're replacing those as quickly as we can, but there are so many. That is one. And then, of course, our vehicle replacement. I put together a vehicle replacement plan last year because we need to turn over our vehicles. If you would look at our vehicles, they're old, they break down. We just need to turn them over at a much quicker rate. And so we're working on that as well. So those are the two main areas, our streets, our storm grates, and our vehicle replacement. Those are vital to the success of the city. And
when you say vehicle replacement, are you talking about the emergency personnel, police, fire, so forth, or is this another type of vehicle that you're referring to?
Well, all the vehicles, our snow plows,
sure.
Our police cruisers, our ambulances, our fire trucks. You have to turn those over, and believe me, the staff does attempt to take great care of them. Of course, you're going to have accidents now and then, but we had 4 snow plows break down on the same day last year several times. And so we've just now purchased 2 new that will arrive in January. But it's been years and years of neglect, and so it's going to take us some time to get back on track to turn these over appropriately.
Well, yeah, it's great to see that happening. Back to the history, I'm thinking of 4th Street, and just to walk along 4th Street and thinking of all the beautiful old homes along there, including Five Oaks, the Maslin Women's Club. Anything cool going on there?
Oh, my gosh, lots of cool things going on at the Maslin Women's Club. They have their open house, their cookie bake. So you've got to if you've never been to the Maslin Women's Club, you've got to see it at Christmas time. And I am going to be sworn in there for my second term on December 30th. So it's one of my favorite places as well. So please, and they'll have it decorated I believe, through the first week of January, maybe the second week. So please stop in there. And they have a beautiful gift shop upstairs with very unique items.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Oh, what a perfect place to have your swearing in.
Yes.
Oh, that'll be beautiful. Yeah, and you're right. I think I'm always amazed that you go into one of these beautiful old rooms and there's not a Christmas tree. There are several Christmas trees. Like every corner has a Christmas tree. Who does that? How does that take place?
Well, I know there are volunteers that do that, and they just have this creativeness that I don't have. I just really relish in, just going to look at all the decorations because they're very creative. It just is beautiful, and you just want to sit there all day and take in the view and the atmosphere.
I'll say, and they must start in September. That's all I can say because it's just amazing. Just unimaginable. Like you say, if you've not seen it, you must see it. You've mentioned streetscape. What other goals do you have for Massillon? What would you love to see happen next?
Well, right now we're looking at our river. We are looking at our river. We have a committee called the Third Century of Massillon Committee, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame is creating an expansion for Canton. Mm-hmm. So we have created this committee to say, what does that expansion in Canton look like for Massillon? Because we have Paul Brown.
Right.
We also have Steve DiPietro, who owns all of the Republic Steel property, and right now has a pipe yard on it. So we're looking at how could we possibly develop the river and narrow it and make it usable, because waterway is a wonderful asset to have. And then you can capitalize it economically. So we're looking at that right now. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but we're hopeful that we'll be able to make that happen and be able to bring in some new businesses to put along the river.
And certainly, why not? Why can't Hall of Fame Village include, when you consider that fun rivalry of Canton and Massillon and football? Why on earth would Massillon not be a part of the Hall of Fame Village and what all that is going to bring to this area?
Well, and we have Paul Brown. You have to remember.
Paul Brown, exactly right.
Stevie Luke, Charlie Brown. I mean, we could go on and on with the players that we have.
The Four Horsemen, right?
Yep. There's just so many. We had Sean Crable, and I know they're not in the Hall of Fame, but they're great football players that were once here in Massillon.
Well, this is so fun. I could go on, but this has been just so enjoyable, taking a little tour of Massillon with Mayor Kathy Catazero-Perry, and we certainly wish you all the best in the coming 4 years. I'm sure we'll touch base again between now and not too far distantly into the future, but it sounds like a rewarding job. You're certainly enjoying it and loving what you do, and we certainly thank you for joining us this morning on Our Community.